Well, hello everybody. Travels with Dottie here, and it's Friday. I know it's my work day, but I'm looking at my watch. I have 2 hours before my next appointment. So Dottie and I are going to run into town. I'm going to get, those of you that don't know, in a week, I'm going to have Medicare. So that means I'm turning 65 in February, but I have my card and everything, and it takes effect on February 1st. Pardon me. So there's a good medical group here in Quartzsite. It's part of the La Paz County. It's part of the La Paz Medical, not the county. It's the medical group out of the hospital in Parker, Arizona, and I heard really good things about this. So I'm going to establish my primary care physician here. Pardon me. There's a lot of dust out here, and that's what the cough is all about. The high winds kicks up the dust and gets into your lungs a little bit. But don't worry, I don't feel sick or anything. I'm fine. But I had to fill out. They said in order to make an appointment, you got to come in and fill out paperwork. So I came in to do that, but I happened to come in just as they were closing. So they gave me paperwork, which I have right here, and I filled it out last night, and I'm bringing it into the office. It's right in Quartzsite. So Dottie and I are very excited about that, aren't we, Dottie? Now, Dottie has moved forward, so I have no idea whether you can really see Dottie or not. Can you? I know you'd rather see Dottie than me. So how about half of my face and a definite shot of Dottie dog? And this isn't the blankets all in front of your face, Dottie. She's not being very photogenic in the car today, are you, Dottie? Very busy on Highway 95. Lots of trucks. And don't worry, I'm going to flip this around after a little while, after I get talking to you in the beginning of this, and because I didn't bring 2 cameras with me this time. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've done a lot of filming this week. And I'm a little tired doing all the filming. And there you got Dottie, and I don't think you have any of me. Maybe it'll swing back around. It's on a gimbal. So yeah, it kind of came back around. What do you think, Dottie? So, so it's Friday. I said it was Friday, right? Did I say the date? It's the 24th of January. 2025, and I'm saying it's a week. In January is 31 days, so it's 8 days. So a week would be the 31st. February 1st is the right time for me to start getting my Medicare. So going to have the primary care physician here in the middle of February 13th. I go down to let me switch this around so you can see the road. So on February 13th, I have a appointment with a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, for my hip replacement. And I think there's a 99 and 44/100% chance that I need a hip replacement, only because I have x-rays, I have the opinion of a chiropractor, and the opinion of a physical therapist that, yeah, that's what you need. And my symptoms exactly match what people have hip replacements, but the surgeon will do his own set of x-rays and take a look at it, and we'll hopefully have my surgery. And I'd like to have it in March, if possible. And I know that's pushing the envelope. When I talked to them, they said maybe 6 weeks from your initial appointment. Who knows? It could be into April, but I have kind of a contingency plan. A lot depends on when the surgery gets scheduled, on how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to do. As it stands now, I think I'm going to be doing the recovery in a house with my friend Daryl up in Lake Havasu instead of the original plan was to be in the trailer. And most people seem to think if I can avoid being in a little tiny trailer with the steps and everything, recovering from a hip replacement, that'd be a good thing to do. So that's the tentative plan, but a lot depends on how far out the surgery is pushed. And, you just don't know. Heck, my February 13th thing could get rescheduled. Who knows? I do know it's a bad idea to make assumptions about how things are going to go with the medical community. So I've got to stay. It may be I have to wait until fall to do it. I just don't know. But as soon as I know, you'll know. And I'm obviously very interested in my own hip replacement history and surgery. So I'm definitely going to do a video on, or maybe a series of videos on what it's really like from a layperson's view, me, on what's it like to get a hip replacement before, during, and after. So to remind those of you that aren't aware, this is this date today is we're nearing the end of the Big Tent week. Today's Friday. Tomorrow will be the last full day at the Big Tent, and Sunday they will close down at 3 p.m. And then usually Sunday and Monday the mass exodus starts. People leave quartzsite en masse, and we kind of get back down to, in quotation marks, winter normal in quartzsite. And by the time that happens, everyone that stays here for the whole season, there's kind of a collective sigh of relief. Having a lot of people around and excitement is fun for the week. After about a week, it's not as much fun. So yes, I'm coughing a lot, and I'm feeling the itch in my chest right now to cough again. So I'm beginning to think, is it really the dust, Rob, or are you coming down with something? Time will tell. I don't feel sick at all. I feel like there's dust in my lungs. And a lot of my friends are experiencing the same thing, but we'll see. And we're stopped here. We're going north on 95. And up here in Quartzsite, 95 is also known as Central Boulevard. So we're on Central Boulevard. The intersection ahead of us there where you see the cars crossing is Kuhn Street. And if I make a left here on Kuhn Street, I'll be in the area known as Tyson Wells. And to the right is what they refer to as the Cellarama. The best way to describe it is kind of the flea market kind of atmosphere. And to the left is some tents, vendor tents, but beyond that, to my immediate left here is the actual Big Tent show. So we're not going in there right now. After we get this paperwork turned in, and hopefully they'll give me an appointment, we may try to sneak in there and get a lucky parking spot and go. I'll take Dottie up. We'll walk around the Cellarama a little bit and go visit with Deborah Dickinson and Frugal RV Gal. And I got very confused today with what day it was again. I kept thinking it was Saturday, but it was Friday. Those of you that are retired understand how easily you mix up what day you're in, which is kind of not a complaint. It's more of a boast, really. Because I don't know about you, but when I was working full time, I knew what day it was for sure, every day. And this was all tied up here yesterday due to road construction, and the state is doing a lot of repaving of this stretch between here and Parker, and they're doing a really good job. Very fast job too. So here's the left-hand turn lane, and I'm going to say there's no way we're going to get through on this run. We'll have to stop here and wait for another cycle, I'm sure. Cycles aren't that long. You know, for those of you that are new and wondering, well, what's the big attraction for Quartzsite? Well, I would say watch the videos that I've done so far this week. And if you watch most of those, not the comment videos or the positive news videos, just look at the regular videos, you'll get a real sense of the reason I find so much joy in spending the winters here in Quartzsite. Oh, you know what? I'm in the wrong lane, guys. I forgot where I was going. So I'm going to try to get over here without causing well, I can't. I can't without causing a traffic jam. So I'm going to have to maneuver through here to try to get, I should have gone straight on Central. I did not. So let's see if we can worm our way back over here and go north on Central. And I feel like I needed to apologize to you, but you're not in the car. You're not really in the car. I'm not really, well, I kind of am wasting a little bit of your time, but if I were transporting someone to this doctor and made the wrong turn, I'd be apologizing. But this is going to be just fine. There's a stop sign here. I can make a left easily. So I recovered. I'm in the process of recovering. Lots of these side-by-sides here. And I have definitely considered more than once buying a side-by-side and storing it here. Actually, I found out if RV Lifestyle sells them, and if you buy it from them, they'll basically store it for a nominal fee. Monthly basis, and they have a trailer that you can borrow to take it out to your site for the season, and then borrow it again at the end of the season to take it back and put it into storage. Why don't I do that? Well, let me tell you why I don't do that. Because I know myself. I have owned a side-by-side. I owned a Ranger, I think it was a Ranger 900 in North Idaho that I used year-round because guess what? I bought tracks for it. And so snow tracks. So I used it in the winter. I had a good time with it, but I know it enough to know that at this point in my life, I would have a good time for a few times taking it out into the desert, and then I would stop. And I would lose interest, and it would be collecting dust. So I know myself, so I'm not going to make the purchase. So this clinic here is a little bit outside of town, just a little bit, but still very convenient. Very convenient indeed. It's 1:24. I think they're closed for lunch, but I think I'm pretty safe on that. I'm going to get clarification on the hours, because I showed up at 4:25 yesterday and the doors were locked, and somebody came out as I was trying the door and went in. I said, "Are you guys closed?" She goes, "Well, 4:30 we're closing." And online it said 5, but I know not everybody keeps up with those online Google things, so I'll have to find out what the hours are. But, and here it is on East Tyson Street, which we have the Quartzsite Fire Department out here and the medical clinic, the La Paz Medical Clinic. It's La Paz Medical Services, outpatient lab, Quartzsite imaging, and rehab services. That doesn't sound good, does it? And again, the helicopter's here too. There's the LifeLight helicopter that I have the extra insurance for. It costs about $79 a year, I think. So just in case something happens where they need to fly you, you're guaranteed not to get a $50,000 bill for it. All right, so I'm going to shut this off and I'll be right. All right. Well, for those of you interested in La Paz Medical Services, family practice and internal medicine in Quartzsite, today is the 24th of January. I went in, turned in my paperwork, they entered it into the system, and I now have an appointment for as soon as February 3rd. So I know I've seen people online say, "Oh, you can, it's hard to get appointments there." So far my experience is not so. So I thought people might be interested in that. So now we're going to go down and see if we can get lucky again with a park. We've been lucky almost every time we've come into town this week to get the spots. So we're going to see if we can get lucky again with a parking space down by Celarama, so Dottie and I can walk around a little bit, do a little bit of footage of what's available there, and hopefully see our friends Frugal RV Gal and Deborah Dickinson and whoever else comes by her little place there. And so I'm going to turn this around because I know how much more you enjoy the road versus just looking at me and Dottie. Well, maybe Dottie. If it was just Dottie, you'd probably be happy. But, so we're about 1.5 miles outside of the middle of town on Highway 95. Still pretty convenient to go there. Here we are. So I'm going to point out things that you might be interested in as we get into town here, coming south on 95 or Central Boulevard. I think the first thing that we're going to see is going to be RV Pit Stop. It's fairly an iconic business that they have propane, water, dump station, all those things available for you. And sometimes this time of year the rigs are backed up on the right hand side here all along 95 to get in. They're not backed up right now though. Everything looks pretty good. And over here by the VFW post 769 there's a water station that I like to go to, the blue one there. And there's a little laundromat back there. Arizona Financial is a bank here. They have an ATM, but be warned, if you don't have an account with them, they're not going to help you with anything inside. I kind of got stuck one day with four $50 bills, and I'm like, I want 20s. Their ATM gave me 450s, and I wanted 20s. And I guess it was my fault because that's the default, and I chose the default. And I went to the teller and said, can I exchange these 50s for 20s? And they said, do you have an account here? And I said, no. And they said, no, can't help you. And I even talked to the manager, and they said, no, I cannot give you any services, even making change, unless you have an account with us. I said, okay. So I had a few uncomfortable moments with vendors where I said, is it okay if I give you a 50? Do you have enough change? And in every case, the answer was yeah. But for future reference, if you use that ATM there, pay attention to denominations because they're defaulting to 50s. Most I've ever heard of default to 20s, but in that one, be careful. And actually, I believe it was, I'm going to guess about 4.25% fee for the withdrawal. And there's a little tiny ATM in Main Street Laundry that was like 3.25% or 3.50. So it was less money. So I'd go there. And another thing is if you got hundreds or something and you want change, go to a laundromat. They have lots of change. They may be busy, they may not be able to get to you, but get it for you. But think about it. They've got those change machines just filled with paper money. A lot of 20s, a lot of 10s. So sometimes they may be able to help you. That's worth a shot. So it's 1:44, and I'm not going to tell you whether I think I'm going to get lucky or not. I did get really lucky yesterday, but it was a little bit later in the afternoon. It was more like 2:30, where I was able to. There's no sign here that really tells you that there's parking back here, but the guy in front of me knows it. He's going in there, and unfortunately, if you got somebody in front of you, they're going to pick off the first spot. But you kind of go down here. To the left here, these are rentals. These Jeeps and Broncos. They're lifted, tricked out for off-road. And I believe it was around $250 for a half a day and $400 something for a full day rental. Very good deal. Especially, it's really comfortable for 4 people. So if you're splitting that cost 4 ways, that's pretty inexpensive. Now there is parking here, but I don't see any open spots. I thought this was all vendor parking, but apparently it's not. And I'm seeing some parking. I'll be darned. We got parking, gang. We got all sorts of spaces here. So we can go up even closer. What the heck? This is friggin' awesome. I can park right here. I thought this was vendor parking, but I see no restriction signs. Do you, Dottie? All right, here we are. This is the back of the Cellarama. We will weave our way back here. And we're very close to where Deborah is. Come on, no. I don't think I've ever been able to park this close to where Deborah's booth is.
Driving down, having a good time, and all of a sudden life's different.
Come on, you've already... I know there's lots of places that have been peed. I'm not quite sure what this is all about, but maybe we're supposed to look at their butts. I'm not really sure.
Hey, who is that?
But there's some shenanigans going on here.
We turned our back to him.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Hello.
Hey, Bando, guess who's here? Your buddy Dottie's here.
With our friends.
here.
You keep showing up.
You keep showing up like a bad penny.
Like a bad penny?
Maybe I should. You keep showing up like a good penny. A good penny.
I heard about what you did yesterday. What do you like today?
What do you guys do? What do you guys do?
Quite an assortment.
Okay.
Quite an assortment.
Good deal. Thank you. Uh-oh. Come here, Bang. Uh-oh. Hang on.
What, Dottie, what have you gotten yourself into? What are you doing, Dottie? Bando.
So what do you mean you're an official patient?
I got an appointment and got registered as a patient at La Paz Medical Center. I'm getting Medicare. There is the Dan Van. Subscribe to the Dan Van.
He got the 12-inch. I just had 2 inches off.
Yeah. You got an 8-inch? Yeah. So you
12-inch, 2 inches, 10.
Just for my viewers, they are talking about a corn dog. I just want to make that clear, crystal clear. Hey, so I promised you I was going to take you through the whole Cellarama thing and show you all the things for sale, and I failed. I apologize. I'll try to do it tomorrow, but right after I did that last clip, I sat down with Deborah, and I had to sit down. My hip was just killing me, and I had to sit down, and I even had trouble standing up. And the lady that came by and thanked me and said I'm the reason that she came out. I apologize for not being more enthusiastic. Understand I was in quite a bit of discomfort there. Not to mention the fact that I was sitting in kind of trying to hide in the back of Deborah's sort of venue there where she's trying to sell books. So I'm sorry I didn't give you a bit more attention. I thank you again. And I missed, and granted I don't hear well either. I didn't catch your name, but if I appreciate you coming by. And this is going to be it for today's video. I appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you tomorrow, and maybe we'll do that tour of Cellarama, since I think Sunday's the last day, so I'm running out of time. See you then.